Abavunaanibwa musango gw'okuwamba wamu n'Okutta Susan Magara kuliko Abasi Buvumbo, Yusufu Lubega, Hussein Waswa, Muzamiru Sali, Hassani Katomiro, Hajara Nakandi, Abubeka Kiwoolya, Muhammad Kasaaliyita wamu ne Ismail Bukenya nga bano balabiseeko mu maaso g'omulamuzi Alex Ajiji. Omujjulizi Muhindo Yusuf ng'ono mukozi ku Paalamenti ng'ali mukwano gwa Susan Magara mu kuwa obujjulizi ategeezezza nti yatuuka okumanya ku kuwambibwa kwa Magara oluvannyuma lw'okuba nga baali boogerezeganya ku ssimu nga mu kiseera ekyo we yawambibwa.
Because there was too much traffic jam between that point to Banda, so I take that detour, that kind of shortcut to head where I stay, through the university. So when I reach, we was still talking on phone by the meanwhile from town, up that time I'm still on phone. So when I reach the Chambogo gate, the west gate, the police officers were checking my car. Yes, Chambogo gate, entering Chambogo University. The police officers who are checking the car, because when you enter Chambogo, they check you through the university. I heard Susan scream in the car. I heard Susan scream. And she says, don't beat me, temunkuba. Then a gentleman, says in English, do you want to scream? And another one says, beat her. They were like two different voices. So she says, I will not scream, please don't beat me. So meanwhile, her phone was on and mine was on because I was hearing that scuffle. The police officers who were checking me didn't know what was going on. Actually, there were security guards. These are what is it called, the PAL security, not police officers. Yeah, not police officers. So I was confused. I didn't know what to do from that state because I was hearing something happening in the car. I thought they were thieves. Then after 40 seconds to 1 minute, the phone was switched off. Her phone went off. The call was dropped. So I was confused. I didn't know what to do from that state because I was hearing something happening in the car. I thought they were thieves. Then after 40 seconds to 1 minute, the phone was switched off. Her phone went off. The call was dropped. So I was trembling. I didn't know what to do. I called 99 police and no one was picking the phone. I called again. No one was picking the phone. Then I remember that my cousin used to stay around those areas. So I called her and her phone was off. So now then again something comes to my mind.
Muhinda agamba wadde nga yagezaako okuddamu okumukubira ku ssimu wabula nga buteerere ekyamuwaliriza okuwaaba ensonga zino ku poliisi.
I called a friend of mine I was with in my class at UMI called Jonathan. Yes, he's a police officer. I tell him what had happened. So and he asked me what he wants us to do. I tell him, do whatever you have to do, but something has just happened. So he asked me, where has it happened? I tell him I don't know, but what I remember that Susan was driving back home. And in our earlier conversations before that incident, she told me she stays around the Mengo area, those areas. So I tell this police officer, Jonathan, that Susan was driving home. So in my mind, I knew her home was around Mengo. So that's how Jonathan advised that one is under Old Kampala police station. That's how Jonathan advises me that that area should be under Old Kampala jurisdiction, Old Kampala police station. So Jonathan said that let him call the DPC or the areas, the police officers within that area. Then he also gives me another number. As he was calling, I was calling as well. And the phones, mine, the one he gave me didn't go through. Then he gives me another number of the DPC of Kawempe. And that one I call, it goes through. That she was a lady who called, I don't remember the name. I narrate what has just happened, and she begins also her, I don't know what she did, but she hangs up and then they begin the conversation. In that very moment, I call my cousin again. Her phone was on. So I tell her what has just happened, and my intention of calling her, I thought she knew where Susan stayed, so that maybe she can go and check whether she's okay. Now, in that, so after me calling my cousin now calls the family, someone in the family. I don't know the person she called, because she was working for the car.
Omujulizi owookubiri abadde Ssajjenti Kiganyira Enoka okuva ku kitebe kya poliisi ekikessi ng'onaategeezezza kkooti engeri gye yakwataganamu ne Muhindo Yusuf ng'ennaku z'omwezi 7 omwezi ogwokubiri omwaka gwa 2018 bwe yali azze ku poliisi okuloopa omusango gw'okuwamba Susan Magara.
My lord, at around 8:30 p.m. in the night, a civilian car Harrier in black approached our quarter guard, and the guards, the police officers who were on duty, opened for that person to enter. When the gentleman came out of the car, my lord, he identified himself as Yusuf Muhindo. I asked him what was the reason. Muhindo told me that he was calling a friend by the names of Susan Magara, but she wasn't picking calls. She was not picking calls. I further interrogated Muhindo to establish his relationship between him and the so-called Susan Magara. Okay, I was interested to know the relationship between Muhindo and Susan Magara, the person he was calling. My lord, Muhindo told me that Susan is a friend. So having got the whole story from Muhindo by that time, I booked out. My lord, before I booked out, I got the phone numbers of the victim, Susan Magara, from Muhindo. And I promised to help in a form of tracking. My lord, I first called someone in MTN at night by the names of Gladys, but she didn't help me at that time. Reason why I called Gladys, I wanted to get the coordinates of the numbers provided to me, since I was doing the tracking at that time. My lord, at that time, I raised Lieutenant Nyakairu Frank. Lieutenant Nyakairu Frank. Nyakairu Frank. Attached to CMI Mbuya. He provided coordinates of the two numbers of the victim. Those numbers were reading Lunguja. My lord, I got my laptop, entered the same coordinates, and they gave me direction.
Kiganyira ategeezezza nti yasaba ennamba ya Susan Magara era mu kumukubira oluvannyuma waaliwo omusajja eyakwata essimu n'abategeeza nga Susan Magara bwe yali asudde emmotoka ye mu bitundu by'erungujja wadde nga baali tebamanyi mayitireege.
But in the process of moving from Ginger Road, Mr. Muhindo Yusuf was calling on the numbers of the victim, but no one was picking. So as we proceeded from Ginger Road, Kampala Road, Muhindo was driving and Mia was on the forward driver's seat. That time it was around 10 p.m. Good enough, someone picked the victim's phone call later. He identified himself as Dennis Viencha, a family member. My Lord, this Dennis directed us. He gave us directions on where to pass until we found them in Lunguja. My Lord, when I reached at the scene of crime, I found very many people there gathering. I identified myself. I showed them a warrant card. I introduced Muyindo Yusuf. My Lord, at that time, I called by then the OCCID Old Kampala Police Station, ASP Sembira, to inform him about my presence in this area and the subject matter which had brought me in Lunguja. We didn't book ourselves at Old Kampala at that time, but the OCCID promised to send me the OC operations by that time at Old Kampala. He sent me the OC operations.
Agamba oluvannyuma bagenda e Lunguja emmotoka ya Susan Magara we yali era n'akola statement ku poliisi.
My Lord, the OC operations called me on a telephone number 0701 86 88 26. I also directed him where we were at that time. The OC operations came with a patrol car. My Lord, on the next day, that was 8th, the DPC Old Kampala, ASP Nyangoma, called me to go and record a statement at Old Kampala. Since I was the first respondent, indeed, my Lord, I obeyed. I went to Old Kampala and I recorded my statement. My Lord, I went with the police officer had called Mr. Juma Kagolola because we were together the whole night on the 7th. He also recorded a statement at Old Kampala. After me recording a statement at the police, I went back to my duty station, Ginger Road. And that's where I ended up, my Lord.
Omujulizi owookusatu abadde Robert Magara, kojja wa Susan Magara, ng'onategeezezza kkooti ku ngeri gye yajja okumanyamu okuwambibwa kwa Magara.
There is one who used to deliver items at the office. The gentleman with the front one next to the lady on my right-hand side, on her left-hand side, who deliver items, who would procure and deliver items at the stores for the company, for the farm. Him, no, I don't know, the connection was he's just a delivery person, would buy things, we've got a procurement team, and he would deliver the items. That's it. There was no connection, it was just a delivery person. Susan Magara she's my niece as a relative, but she used to work under me. Since I was the head of procurement, so we have an officer. She used to work she was under me as a cashier stroke accountant. At the same time, she's my niece, so she was a relative. All right, on the 7th of February 2018, I got a call from the fleet manager. Our fleet manager called Dienkia Dennis at about 10 p.m. that Susan's car had been parked in the middle of the road. The lights are on and the engine is running. So I was in Bugolobi, I drove to the scene between 9:30 and 10. It was in the night. I can't tell. Yeah, then once I got to the scene, started making calls. But I met Dennis there, so started trying to call her numbers, Susan's phone calls, and they were not being picked up. So while at the scene, a patrol vehicle came, and then there's an officer who came from Naguru. And then I was advised to go to Old Kampala Road to make a statement. So while at the scene, my elder brother, the father to Susan, Dennis had informed me that his phones are not going through, so I called my younger brother to inform him. No, I called my younger brother to inform our elder brother, who is the father to Susan. Oh, sorry, no, Dennis from his phones were not going through, so I called the brother. I did not call my brother, I did not call my elder brother's phone. Dennis informed me that they're not going through, so I called my younger brother. Excuse me? Yes, to inform Susan's dad. I phoned the fleet managers, the contact person who I phoned there, and some of our workers. I can't really place at about 5 or 10. No, unfortunately, Dennis Benkia passed on.
Wabula mu kiseera ky'okubuuzibwa ebibuuzo okuva ku ludda oluvunaanwa, ono asanze akaseera akazibu anti sitaatimenti ye gye yakola ku poliisi ebadde teriiko mukono gwe. Oludda oluvunaanwa lusabye kkooti okugoba sitaatimenti eno wadde nga kino kiwakanyiziddwa oludda oluwaabi.
For always the prosecution to disclose to us my Lord, a host of authorities which I also undertake to bring if I'm allowed, have barred trials by ambush. My Lord, this is a clear example of trial by ambush by our land colleagues. My Lord, even if court would permit this evidence, still I would pray that I would examine at a later stage. And all this is tainted to West. We examine at a later stage. My Lord, all this that amounts to delay of this trial not only delay but it will waste the government useful resources. My Lord, in light to the above, we reiterate our former prayers that the witness is incompetent to testify as a witness who has a statement.
A witness can still testify in court even when they did not record a plain statement. In other words, my Lord, nothing should prohibit a witness from just, I beg your pardon, failure to record a statement at police is not a bar to the witness testifying in court.
And we shall deliver a ruling and we shall proceed. Adjournment till then, tomorrow at 10:30.
Omulamuzi Alex Ajiji ataddewo olw'enkya okuwa ensala ku sitaatimenti ya Robert Magara. Hajara Nakandi omuwawaabirwa ye n'ategeeza kkooti nga waliwo omusajja amanyiddwa nga Mugabi Shakul amukubira essimu ng'amugamba okukkiriza omusango guno.
They will release me or they'll give me a short sentence that is equivalent to the time that I have spent in prison. He promised me good things to take me out of the country after I have gotten out of prison. He also promised me marriage. So I wanted to let you know that I wanted to let you know, my Lord, I wanted to request that this gentleman stops calling me.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen him before, but I know his name.
What is it?
His name is Mugabi Shakul. He told me it's very shocking.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to put forward in the law.
This raises a security issue. And visual also involved. Why am I saying so? She's in custody of visual. How does a private person call to a person who doesn't have a phone in a visual facility? This must be a connivance between that person and the prison authority. And this court must be one called about. Because at the end of the day, he doesn't have the phone in custody. This person must be accessing prison, which is very unprofessional, according to me.
My Lord, it is very unfair for my learned friend to condemn prisons without hearing from them. What if your client is telling lies? My Lord, she is not even on oath. It's not. I pray that he withdraws his statements because he's condemning the prison's authorities unheard.
My Lord, I'm not condemning them unheard. Reason, this is not the first time my prison has kept quiet about it. Last time she raised the same issue. And right now, the same issue has come up. She raised the issue of being reported.
I know there are many cases of this kind. And I know that you have mechanisms of addressing security fears of accused persons while they're in your custody. Can you take it up as a case which requires your attention, requires your investigation, and requires your action so that her life is not put to fear, even when she's facing a trial? It is important that while she's facing a trial, she's free of all those kind of fears. Of course, without alluding to the fact that you could be having a suitor who is unknown to you, that's just on the lighter side. On the lighter side of it, we could simply think that maybe there's someone admiring you and wants you out as a wife at the end of the day. But that also can be with the connotations. Supposing it turns out to be someone who wants to lure you to be a woman and kills you at the end of the day. So it's a security matter which I think you people should take up seriously. Right?
Why don't we open this court? There's only one way whereby these inmates make their calls through a welfare office. And it's only a limited 2 calls. And it's a rare case to find that we have been called by whom and we will use phone.
It's calling to their relatives, not suitors calling inmates, not persons who want to harm them calling through the welfare officer's phone.
mu ngeri y'emu okuwuliriza omusango gw'okutta Immaculate Onebe mukyala w'omusuubuzi Francis Onebe nga guno guvunaanibwa Francis Onebe ne Bonnie Oriocourt. Oludda oluwaabi luliko kye lwebuuzizza ku mujulizi wa gavumenti Jacob Okero. Jacob Okero abuuziddwa lwaki basalawo okuvunaana abantu 2 bokka mu musango guno ate nga baali bakutta abantu abasobera ddala mu 10.
Unless you want me to phrase it here.
No.
The point is, there are over 15 criminal suspects mentioned. And he has been conferencing. He has conferenced at police, they have conferenced at the DPP. And I'm asking him, at what stage did he and others decide to leave the other ones and only proceed for A1 and A2? That's my question. And he's in position to answer it. Not even the state, not even court, my lord. He is an adult man. He's an adult, mature and very educated. So, my lord, permit him to answer my question. And that's my last question.
answer counsel, I want to dispel the fact that the several he's talking about not child. We have told courts here that several files were open to investigate some of those people. Others even appeared in court. Others were investigated by more than one security agency, and there was no incriminating evidence to warrant their prosecution. But from time to time, the investigators kept interacting and engaging the director of the public prosecution to guide the investigation. And it was the same directorate that at appropriate time referred judges. And that's why the two accused before court.
Omulamuzi Mike Erubu omusango n'agongezaayo okutuusa olunaku lw'enkya okwongera okuguwuliriza. Magistrate Ayiso Onebe yatemulwa mu mwezi ogwa January omwaka gwa 2021 e Buzige e Munyonyo mu Kampala.